the Nigerian office of the MacArthur Foundation.
This project will have sown the seeds of sustainability of our media organization in the country. I hope that these ideas will be used by many of you and use it also to collaborate, but also to see how we can actually continue this conversation around the sustainability of the media itself. Media, in my view, is a long-haul investment in public service, in the future of our country, in our democracy, in our own accountability landscape. And therefore, sustaining the media, I think, is critical and very important. And I would also like to hope and call upon other Nigerians who have the opportunity to support the media ecosystem in the country, to also invest in supporting the media ecosystem, because I believe that the health of the media is also the health of the country itself.
There were goodwill messages from a number of stakeholders.
The ENUGU is committed to safeguarding the future of journalism in our country. In a time of rapid technological change, economic uncertainty, and growing threats to press freedom, the need for future-proof of our profession has never been more urgent. The future of Nigerian democracy depends on the strength of resilience of its media. Together, let's chart a path that ensures journalism not only survives, but thrives.
There are three main kinds of revenue that a media company can rely on these days. One is audience revenue, and I think that is the best kind you can get. So if you're relying on your audience and if you're producing content that's meaningful enough for somebody to be willing to pay for it, that means, one, you're serving your audience, and two, it gives you a very strong financial foundation to build on.
The Nigerian Guild of Editors has long advocated for support for the media, including tax rebates, import duty waivers, and treating media products as educational materials. The media has played a vital role in entrenching democracy, promoting good governance, and fostering peace and unity in Nigeria.
The path forward is clear. Media organizations must diversify revenue sources, harness technology responsibly, engage audiences authentically, and build robust support system. The program is supported by the MacArthur Foundation. In Abuja, Nasiru Usman for Signature TV.
Legacy our fathers sought to preserve. Here lies the culture our mothers fought to conserve. Here lies that which Ndibo took a stand for. Here, dead, killed by our own hands, lies that which makes us Ndibo.
The Center for Memories, ENUGU, once again lived up its mission of preserving and amplifying the history, culture, and collective aspiration of Ndibo, as it hosted the 41st edition of Nkata Umwibe Distinguished Speaker Series with the theme Igbo Ebezina, Reclaiming Igbo Voice in National Conversations. The keynote speaker, Vim Martin Obiorailu, a veteran journalist and president of Signature TV, who delivered a moving and thought-provoking lecture, struck the heart of socio-political and developmental realities confronting Ndibo. In his rich and emotive presentation, Ilo called for unity and strategic collaboration among the Igbos, urging an end to lamentation and a fresh beginning based on purpose, planning, and partnership. Drawing inspiration from his own childhood experience during the Biafran War, Ilo echoed echoed his message on the powerful Igbo phrase, Ebezina, stop crying, making a compelling argument that the time for tears was over and the time for action has come.
Sometimes it's marks of inability of a person or group to identify challenges, confront it, overcome it, and rise above it. So today, I'm arguing that this crying by Igbo people needs to stop. Igbos have cried enough. It is time to take their fate in their hands.
Speaking before a large audience at the center, Ilo criticized the long-standing marginalization narrative and shifted the lens inward, declaring that the most dangerous marginalization of Ndigbo is internal by Ndigbo themselves. He decried the failure of Igbo elites to truly invest in the region, questioned the ineffective use of political opportunities over the years, and called for intentional investments in infrastructure, manufacturing, education, and media.
No one can tell your stories like you will tell it. And in today's Nigeria media landscape and the unending political competition rooted on tribal allegiances, every interest group must ensure it has a vibrant media sympathetic to their agenda and aspirations. My dear brothers, crying will not change anything for Ndigbo. What will cause change are the positive actions we take today to change our situations ourselves.
Speaking on sidelines, the traditional ruler of Aduachi in Oji River local government area, Igwe Sunday Ora, agreed with the keynote speaker that Ndigbo can achieve more as a team than in isolation. He said the much repeated phrase, Igbo Enweze, Igbos have no king, should not be a limitation, but an invitation to create a consensus-based leadership culture.
Meaning it's only when you work with as a team that you can make a meaningful achievement. And we need to come together as a family.
The event's organizers appreciated ILO for what they described as a rich and deeply reflective delivery, noting that the topic was not only timely, but that the guest speaker was accurately chosen to deliver on its weight and urgency.
Speakers like Vin Martin are rare to get. So you grab him when you know he has a free space in his itinerary. So we grabbed him when we knew he was free to speak this edition. And the choice of the topic, very apt.
Following the keynote speech, an interactive question and answer session allowed members of the audience to further engage with the speaker on aspects of his presentation. Many participants added their voices in agreement with the need for a unified Igbo front to confront contemporary challenges and reposition the region in national discourse.
We need to help others to climb. When he referred to ENUGU, he was trying to say that we need that Igbo person that will come out and take that power by force. And let us support that person so that the person will take it and make a mark.
If we are able to bring ourselves together and form a common front, you discover that the Igbo nation has the majority we are talking about. But because they have been able to split us into small regions, into small states and other regions, we are not able to make the force we need to foster the energy we require.
The occasion was rounded off with the presentation of gifts to the guest speaker and a general group photograph at the arena, capturing a historic moment of shared hope and renewed resolve to move the Igbo nation forward. As the applause echoed through the Center for Memories, one message stood firm: Ndigbo Ebezina. It is time to rise, rebuild, and reclaim. In Enugu, Chinemere Mikebunam reporting for Signature TV News.
We are local.
International communities observing
When the main market is in chaos, people are...
We are national.
those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
We have taken it through by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
In an era of growing political awareness, there are renewed calls for greater inclusiveness in politics and governance. One group which feels alienated over the years is the youth population who have remained on the sideline in decision-making platforms. At the launch of the Take Action campaign in Abuja, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, reminded the youth that time has come for them to participate rather than agitate. He threw his weight behind the Not Too Young to Run initiative and a bill proposing reserved legislative seats for women. And talking about inclusive governance, Nigerian lawmakers are advocating a bill to increase female representation in politics through reserved seats. Chairman House Committee on Reserved Seat for Women, Honorable Kafilat Obara, and Chairman Senate Committee on Women, Senator Ireti Kingbe, argued that more women in politics will help fight poverty and promote development.
The importance of the bill. The reserved seat bill for women is not just about numbers. It is about giving women a voice in decision-making processes that affect their lives and communities. By increasing women's representation, we can ensure that their perspectives, their views, needs, rights are adequately addressed in policy formulation and implementation. This bill aligns with international commitments to gender equality, including the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 5, which calls for achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. Studies have shown that when women are included in decision-making processes, economic growth is accelerated and benefiting to the entire nation as well. It will also interest you that we have sponsored 3 bills to increase the percentage of women in our security institutions recently, thereby promoting gender equality and inclusivity in our security institutions.
The seats, we must have them. So I advocate and call on all the women of this country to please go out, speak to the men, speak to everybody you can speak to get their support for these 74 reserved seats. Then I would also like to point out to everybody else in the nation, you know, this isn't just about women, it's about the whole country. It's about the development of the country. It is shown everywhere that where there are more female representation, the countries are better developed economically. And we know that as the giant of Africa, we need to get ahead of everybody. I would also like to call, as my sister said, on all the governors, because we need their support in the state houses of assembly. This seat is about Nigeria.
The United Nations Development Programme and other advocates are also rallying support for the bill.
I want Nigerian women to know the movement, this movement we have for the advancement of women must continue. Honorable Kafilat, we need more of you in Parliament. I pray that the women that come to represent these 6 seats by God's grace, the special seats for women by God's grace will come and it will be a reality. But the women we choose must be a voice. They must be voices for many other women.
Despite making up nearly half of Nigeria's population, women currently occupy fewer than 5% of seats in the National Assembly. This isn't just a gap, it is a call to action. A call to dismantle structural barriers, disrupt the status quo, and build a more inclusive and just governance system. So the reserved seats bill, in our opinion, is a transformative response to that call, a call to deal with dismantling structural barriers, disrupting the status quo. It affirms the principle that women belong at the table, not as guests, but as decision makers, not as exceptions, but as equals.
And back in the House of Representatives, the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, has raised alarm over corruption lapses in government institutions. A report presented to the House revealed that 92 ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, still lack functioning anti-corruption and transparency units. The Commission attributed the failure to poor funding, executive interference, and lack of political will, calling for training, awareness, and better institutional support.
We realize that in the compliance rating, we have 6 categories. We have the full compliance, that is MDAs that score 95% and above, and then we have substantial compliance, partial compliance, poor compliance, non-compliance, and non-responsive. But over time, we realize that some MDAs will fall into substantial compliance, while the NDA is not effective. So this year going forward, ATU is now a standalone key performance indicator.
Declaring the hearing open, Speaker of the House of Representatives, represented by Honorable Omar Ajilo, said the session was not a witch hunt, but a proactive effort to assess the performance of acting corruption units and strengthening institutional integrity.
This public hearing aims to assess the functionalities and effectiveness of the anti-corruption and transparency unit across all MDAs to identify their challenges and explore viable strategies for addressing the challenge. The public hearing is also intended to discuss potential legislative and policy measures that can strengthen this unit and promote transparency, accountability in governance operations.
Chairman of House Committee on Anti-Corruption, Honorable Kayode Akiolu, stressed that the hearing addressed a critical issue central to Nigeria's democratic development. Stakeholders recommended that anti-corruption units should be institutionalized into the MDAs and made to report directly to permanent secretaries.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on eVibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
I should try harder, so...
Okay, I don't know that one.
Outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on eVibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
With a population of about 36 million people, the Southeast is awash with stories. Every day on Southeast News, we tell the peculiar story of the Southeast and her people.
Our Southeast should be the Silicon Valley of Nigeria.
Their successes, achievements, and daily challenges. Do you have a Southeast story to share? Community achievements and challenges, completed and uncompleted projects, bad roads, water scarcity, erosion, flooding, insecurity, or even disagreements? Bring it on to Southeast News. On Southeast News, no story is too big or too small. Southeast News. Let's tell our story. Showing on Signature TV every weekday at 4 p.m. WAT, 1600 hours GMT. With a population of about 36 million people, the Southeast is awash with stories. Every day on Southeast News, we tell the peculiar story of the Southeast and her people.
Our Southeast should be the Silicon Valley of Nigeria.
Their successes, achievements, and daily challenges. Do you have a Southeast story to share? Community achievements and challenges, completed and uncompleted projects, bad roads, water scarcity, erosion, flooding, insecurity, or even disagreements? Bring it on to Southeast News. On Southeast News, no
Hello, welcome to Political Circle on Signature Television. Today, we are zooming in on a reality that touches every Nigerian. Prices of essential goods and services are rising with the speed of light. Incomes are shrinking, and survival has become a daily hustle. This has become a major concern to the people. It has led to a decline in purchasing power and struggle for many Nigerians to afford basic necessities. Households are in trouble, and governments say they are on top of their game, but their impacts are not felt by the people. In the words of Senator Dino Melaye, Nigerians now visit garbage centers to look for crumbs and food. The question is, what is driving this economic pressure? Is it inflation, poor policy choices, or global influence? Or are we simply caught in a circle we can't seem to break from? Which way, Nigeria? This is our focus on Political Circle today. Our topic is State of the Economy, Cost of Living in Nigeria. My name is Luke Mbo. Joining us this morning is a legal practitioner and a seasoned political analyst who will be here to decode the numbers behind the struggle, the politics behind the policies, and what hope, if any, lies ahead for the common man in Nigeria. Barrister Wabezu, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, our viewers.
My brother, you heard Senator Dino Melaye. He said Nigerians are now visiting garbage centers for crumbs and food. How true is this?
Dino Melaye has been a very controversial man in Nigeria, a good politician, but also to a great extent, a man that always pictures Nigeria as it is. The problem is that a lot of persons in this country always want to paint words, but Dino does not. He states it as it is, and that is what we need in Nigeria currently. We need people that will say things as they are so that Nigeria can move forward. The continued retrogression of this country is directly linked to the inability of Nigerians to tell themselves the truth and to tell their leaders the truth. What Dino said is very correct, that Nigerians now visit the garbage heaps in order to find food. Move around the towns, move around the cities of this country, especially in the north. It's become the order of the day. But the problem, honestly, is that the government appear to be helpless. The government appear to have no idea of what to do. The government appear to be unable to provide a solution to a very important problem. A problem that may spill to social unrest. A problem that may get to a level that nobody would want ever to come to this country.
Well, let's make a direct analysis so that our viewers will understand what we're saying. For instance, using a professor in Nigeria as a case study. We know a professor receives what I will call one of the best salaries in this country, because it's one of the most, it's the highest when you come to intellectualism. These are the people that come up with policies, theories, hypotheses that will help us grow. Using a professor's salary as our case study, how can he transport himself to the office, pay rent if he's not accommodated in the university, buy food, pay school fees, and all that? Let's not talk about the average common man. That's why I want us to use the professor as an example.
You see, if you look at the universities, which is the citadel of learning, not only in Nigeria, but in every country of the world, I am told, my wife said that a lecturer in the university told her, she has a doctorate degree, informed her that her salary monthly is 200,000 naira. Now, for a lecturer to have a salary of 200,000, I'm not sure how much a professor earns, but I am very sure it's not up to 1 million naira in a month. Just the other day, I know that judges of this country were earning something hovering around 500,000. It's just recently that the president signed an instrument that raised their salary above, that took their salary into millions. But of course, like I said, the professors are still underpaid. The lecturers are underpaid. Almost every government employee in this country is underpaid. And the situation continues to get worse by the day. Because if you look at their salary in 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, there have been increases in their salary. But then the value in real terms, the value in terms of purchasing power has been declining considerably, very fast. That is why corruption, bribery is becoming official in Nigeria. It's becoming the order of the day. Some months ago, for you to make a report in a police station in ENUGU, in most towns in Nigeria, you will the police will demand that you pay money before your report can be taken in a police station. The same thing with everywhere. It's only recently with the current commissioner of police, he has cleaned the state police force so that if you walk into any police station to make a report, they'll take your report. They will begin to act on it.
Now,
and
what I'm trying
that
to
is the way
find
it should
out
be.
is, like I tried to use a professor. If he's paid 500,000, how much is for fuel? How much is for school fees? How much is for food? And by the time we sum it up, we know whether it will be enough.
I want to be very frank with you that, okay, let me even take myself as an example. If I move into a police station, buy fuel 80,000, usually that's what I buy, it doesn't fill my tank. Because if I want to fill my tank, I'll be talking of 100 plus. My wife takes about 50,000. You're already counting about 130.
Yes.
And this fuel will not last. Assuming we don't go out of town, it won't last for more than 2 weeks. It won't even last. What is 2 weeks? What am I saying? About a week if we don't go out of town. Now, assuming I quantify what I spend on fuel alone for 1 month, that will be giving me over 400,000 naira for 1 month only. Fuel. And I am not using it for commercial purposes, just to go to the office, go to court, do few little things. Now, you now check a professor in the university. Remember, he's not a mere lecturer. He's not even a senior lecturer, let alone a reader. He has gotten to the high echelon of the academic ladder. He is supposed to be very, very comfortable, so that he is not supposed to be thinking about what to do, how to make money.
How to make ends meet.
How to make ends meet. He's not supposed to think about it.
No.
It should be given. Now, but he spends his time thinking about it. Instead of concentrating on research, concentrating on writing books, concentrating on how education can be made better in his faculty, in his department. The issue now in this country, everybody now concerns himself with how to live, how to survive, how to eat first and foremost. In such a situation, how would anybody now have time to think of how to improve anything in this country?
Now, what could be the cause? Is it bad policies?
There are a lot of causes. Okay. But all the causes hold into bad policy. Because it is bad policy that jacked up the value of the currency from 450 officially, 450 naira per dollar, officially in 2023, before May 29, to 1,600 currently. That's the unified value of the naira. It's now around 1,600 naira per dollar, from 460 naira officially in 2023 before May 29. That's of course bad policy. It's also bad policy that jacked up food prices from about 50 or 60, from about, I'm not sure, it was up to 40,000 by 2023 before May 29. By December last year, we bought rice for over 100,000 naira per bag. And yet a civil servant. A civil servant is now said to be paid 70,000. I don't know, many of the states may not even be paying it.
Subsidy.
Now, it is
subsidy anywhere around it.
Yes. Now, it is bad policy that also makes the government incapable of making plans before removing petrol subsidy. So before May 29, petrol was hovering around 160, 140 naira per liter. Before May 29, 2023. After about 2-3 months, fuel became 1,200 naira per liter. So it altered everything in this country. Everything. It affected healthcare. It affected food prices. It affected accommodation. Every single thing. If the government had known its onions, the government would have planned to cushion the effect of that increase. If they felt that that increase was indispensable, that is, the removal of that so-called fuel subsidy, because a lot of people still insist that there was never fuel subsidy in this country. If the government felt that this was important, they should have found a cushioning effect. How do you move food from the hinterland to the urban centers where they are consumed without the removal of the so-called fuel subsidy impacting on that movement? How do you make the hoi polloi, the dregs of the earth, how do you make them to move from their houses to their workplaces, from their houses to the market? Those little local runs, how do you make it possible for them to engage in it without being impacted by the removal in the so-called fuel subsidy? How do you ensure that medical supplies move without being impacted by that? If you have a responsive government, that government must ensure that these things are taken into consideration before you lift the lid on fuel subsidy. You ensure that these things are done. Again, now, to show you that it is policy, you unified the dollar, because whatever happens in this country in terms of prices of everything has a great bearing on the international currency, which is the dollar. It has a great bearing on the value of the dollar in Nigeria. The reason is because most of what we do in Nigeria are import dependent. Food, import dependent. Everything, this table, import dependent. This seat I'm sitting on, import. The pen you hold, every single thing. Because Nigeria produces nothing. Now, since you are aware that this is the position of the country, of your economy, then you must ensure that dollar, that everything is done to see that the dollar does not skyrocket beyond reach. Otherwise, you don't need to be told that your country will be in trouble. You do not act before you think. You must think before you act.
I think I like that. Think before you act. There's something I don't know if we're omitting. What about corruption? Has there any role?
Corruption certainly has played a great role in this entire scenario. But, like I said earlier, it's still bad policy that caused corruption. How much is the policeman paid? The lowest paid policeman, I do not know how much they earn, but I'm certain it may not be over 100,000. 100,000 naira for a man that has family. His wife may be unemployed. Probably his wife may be engaged in petty trading. He has a family to maintain. 3, 4, 5 children. They eat, they go to school, they clothe, then they must live in a house. This poor policeman may not have gotten accommodation from the police. He may now have to find accommodation in town. He has not built any. He has to pay for it. No landlord will give him preferential treatment because he's a policeman. He must pay what others are paying.
Of course.
And accommodation, my goodness, is something that you don't even talk about. Not only can you not talk about it now, the rate of increase in rents around this country are not just astronomical, but they are incomprehensible. Now, for this same policeman, you expect him, after earning probably 100,000 in a month, he will just be doing, and even with the 100,000 that he earns, there is a lot that he has to do in the office that are not provided for. Like, if you need to be, you are in writer 1, you are the writer 1, CRO 1. You are behind the counter taking notes. When that register finishes, you have to go and buy. Nobody gives you money to do so. When your pen finishes, you have to go and buy. Nobody gives you pen.
And the result is what?
The result is corruption. That's why I said it's not possible. Now, let me leave the policeman. Go to various offices. You see how much the man is paid, 70,000 probably. Or if you add, if there are things to be added, let's assume it's 100,000.
Yes.
Now, with 100,000 naira, for somebody that has a bill of, when you check everything, school fees,
feeding,
accommodation,
transportation,
feeding, transportation, clothing, everything.
Healthcare.
Let's assume that the bill he must meet in a month is 400, 500,000 naira. He earns 100,000. There must be a way of getting, because nature abhors a vacuum. There must be a way of him meeting up to that need. From 100,000 that he's been paid, there's a balance of 400,000. How does he meet it? He must meet it. It's impossible for him to shirk his responsibility. It's impossible for him to deny his children food. He can't. Otherwise, he will not only be a very wicked father, but he will be an incompetent father. He cannot deny his children of cloth. They must wear clothes, no matter how cheap. Once in a while, their clothes must need to be changed. They must, if any of them has malaria, you can't fold your arms and be watching him die. Malaria is said to be the highest killer disease in Africa. You can't fold your arms and watch your child die of malaria, which, because of, again, wrong policies of government, there's mosquito everywhere in Nigeria.
So he has no choice but to get involved
to be corrupt.
Now, let's leave corruption alone so that corruption will leave us someday. Now, let's go to international economic meltdown, global economic meltdown. Does it have any role in our problems in the country today?
I want to be frank with you that to some extent, yes, but to a great extent, no. To some extent, because there are some places where you may be importing things from because of probably the war that is ravaging the developed world. You may no longer be able to import those things. Again, because of what you also, because in UK now, food has become some form of problem in United Kingdom, because a lot actually is going on, not only in UK, but around the world. But then, for a country that produces most of what the country needs, they will have no need for any international market. for the ones you consume. You should be talking of international market for the ones you export. So if the policies of government...
the reverse is the case. Nigeria don't produce anything.
That's what I'm saying. That if the Nigerian government has very good policies, by now we should have no business importing food from any country. This country is blessed with green vegetation. Look at the entire South. Forest everywhere, showing you that food will grow very well. These things can be converted into farmlands, and food will grow very, very well. We should not only be feeding Nigeria comfortably, we should even be priding ourselves as feeding the entire Africa, because we have the capacity to do so. We have the land, the crops are there, we have the human beings that will do it. And the human beings are also willing to do it. But
our former president, late General Buhari, said that our youths are lazy. Are we actually lazy?
Oh, God forbid. The man should, if there's any way for him to pay, he should be made to pay for that sentence. Because I think that he was a man that was lazy, not the youths of this country. He was irresponsive as a president. He was irresponsible as a man. Because that is even the major cause of skyrocketing food prices in Nigeria. It's because of the then president, Muhammadu Buhari. Where farmers, it was from his time as president that women became afraid to go to the farms. Farmers no longer wanted to go to the farms. Because if you go to the farm, the women mostly are the people that farm in Nigeria. If they go to the farm, the nomadic herdsmen will rape them and kill them.
Well, let's leave that. The Tinubu administration say they are on top of their game. To what extent are their impacting on the people?
They are not at the top of their game at all. I think to borrow the words of Olusegun Obasanjo, the man that has been steadfast in this country, one of the best presidents Nigeria has had, to borrow his words, he said, he was talking about, somebody asked him about Buhari. He said, he left about Buhari and now asked the question, what of the man that came into government without having an idea of what he wanted to do, of what is coming into government to do? The present government needs, let me just say that they need to become responsive. They need to sit down and they really ask themselves, what if they leave? What advice are they going to say that they did?
What advice can you give the present administration?
The advice I'll give to the president of this country is that he needs to look at the three major things that has caused the prices, the skyrocketing prices of food items. Because you must start from food before you get to accommodation, get to every other thing. Those things, the devaluation of the naira, the removal of fuel subsidy, he has to do things. I'm not saying he should fuel subsidy, but let him cushion the effect. Let him do it very fast. Let me even tell you, there's also this currently, yes. If you look at rice, for instance, rice was banned, and the farmers were running back to the farms. And all you needed was time for the prices of rice to come down. He has now removed the ban on rice, on a food importation generally, food importation, so that the prices of rice now came down below what the farmers produce. That is below the cost of production for the farmers. All the farmers ran away from it. So what is going to be the long-term effect? He's not looking at that.
Story is too big or too small. Southeast News. Let's tell our story. Showing on Signature TV every weekday at 4 p.m. WAT, 1600 hours GMT.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on e-vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
So I should try harder. So
Okay, I don't know that one.
outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on e-vibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
Well, thank you very much, our colleagues in ENUGU, for this wonderful Monday morning. You just know how to do it so beautifully from the ENUGU studio. And let me welcome you to our Abuja studio. My name is Wabuosen Joko. Welcome to Signature Morning. Now, there are three major issues that are occupying national conversation. One is a statement made by the Arewa Consultative Forum, Facts to Counter. And the conversation is, why does national politics bring in a divided nation? The government at the center is not judged by its overall performance. It is judged by what has come to this section or what has not come to this section. In other words, we are not looking at a whole performance. The impact of policy on economy, impact of policy on education, the impact of policy on general life. That ought to be the benchmark for judging any government. But here, in our country, it is West marginalized, East marginalized, North marginalized, South marginalized. The language is marginalization. The second issue confronting us in our national conversation is 2027 election. Some say 2027 election has become a distraction to governance. That is the issue we're confronting this morning. My guests have been here once. We had a very interesting conversation. Dr. Agbo Major. Dr. Agbo Major is the national chairman of the new Nigeria People's Party. Doc, you're welcome to Signature Morning.
Good morning, my senior brother.
How has it been?
Well, it's been fine, quite interesting. As you can see, yes, we are grappling with very serious economic difficulties. But then, as a nation, it's a passing phase. We've seen other countries who have advanced to an enviable level go through all of this. So our message always has been that
this also shall come to pass.
We should keep faith. It will come to pass.
Great. But let
faith. It will come to pass.
Great. But let me take you back to when you were here last. I want to recall that you said to me that your leader, the leader of NNPP, they say he's the founder, you say he's not. Former governor of Kano State, Kwankwaso, that he had been sacked from the party. What is the situation now? Have his sins been forgiven and has he returned to the fold of the righteous?
No, that's not, nothing has changed. It's still the way it was as at the last time I was here.
He is suspended still.
Expelled.
Expelled
suspended, still. Yeah. I was quite categorical that day. First, procedurally, by the provisions of our constitution, he was suspended, he was recalcitrant, he refused to yield, and submit himself to the dictates of the constitution. And so he got the ultimate punishment, which is expulsion from the party. So his status as of today is that
he's no longer a member
of our party. Yeah.
I'm a little worried about that. Let me recall what happened on July the 25th in Kano. Kwankwaso received, I wasn't there for the count, but they said thousands of decampees from the All Progressive Party who joined the NNPP. And who received them? Kwankwaso, or the person who received them. Were you at that reception for those decampees?
Well, two things I will quickly tell you, to answer that. Number one, if you watch the operations of other political parties, when it comes to the campaign at those lower levels, it does not directly concern the National Secretariat of the party. People are receiving members into APC every day across the Federation in so many areas. The APC chairman is not available in those places. The PDP is receiving people every day. The PDP national chairman is not available in those places. But then, that is not even the issue. The issue is that we have a government in place in Kano. Of course, you know that, and every Nigerian knows that the state government of Kano is put, or rather enthroned by the NNPP and the chairman of. And so we believe that whatever is happening at the level of Kano is directly within the purview and control of the governor. So we assume that, of course, you did say that it was Kwankwaso who received them. I'm going to talk about that. But by our records, we look at it that it was the governor, who is the leader of the party in Kano, that received those decampees. But then, you and I know that Kwankwaso has an organization called the Kwankwasia Movement.
Yes.
The governor is an active member of that Kwankwasia Movement. They all came together into the Nigeria People's Party in February 2022. And everybody knows that it is difficult to divorce the governor from Kwankwaso. So I will tell you two things to directly answer you. One, I don't think it would be right for me as the chairman of the party to say that the members were received into the Kwankwasia movement. I won't say that completely. But in a way, because it was Kwankwaso who received them, based on the records you have,
yes.
Our conclusion is that he received them into his Kwankwasia movement. If it was the governor who was there formally and was allowed to speak, because one thing about Kwankwaso is that he's so overbearing that, anywhere you see Kwankwaso and you see the governor, he wants to be the one to be seen as the governor. Maybe he overshadowed the governor during that event, like he has always done in the past. The man has this problem of, wanting to be on the driver's seat always, even if he is not supposed to be at a particular moment. So Probably he may have overshadowed the governor. His presence there would have overshadowed the governor, and that's why we can only conveniently say that he received them into the Kwankwasia movement, not the NNPP. But of course, we have always insisted, and we have told you before now, that the divorce that occurred between us and Kwankwaso affected the movement called Kwankwasia movement. Because what we did not sign anything with Kwankwaso as a person. We signed an MOU, some understanding with the Kwankwasia movement. And so when we had issues with Kwankwaso, because you cannot divorce Kwankwasia from Kwankwaso.
In Kano.
Well, yeah, Kwankwasia is only in Kano now. Where else will you see Kwankwasia in this country? They're there in Abuja here. They're not in Benue. They're not in Lagos. They're not in Enugu, that is your state. They are nowhere. It's only Kano. So what I can tell you is that they received people into their Kwankwasia movement. But the governor who was elected on the platform of our party is still the symbol of the party in Kano. And the fact that he was there could also give some level of leverage.
There seems to be a confusion of identity between Kwankwasia in Kano and NNP.
Yes, I'll go to that. Because you see, if you see the class of people they have as members of Kwankwasia, over 90% of them are core illiterates. So even as we speak now, if you go to Kano now, you line up 20 Kwankwasia members, and you begin to ask them questions, what is the status of Kwankwaso in NNPP? They will still tell you that Kwankwaso is in NNPP. Why am I saying this? They are not read, they hardly watch the TV, they don't listen to news, except that is said to them directly in Hausa language. So a lot of them still do not know that Kwankwaso ceased to be a member of NNPP since August 2023.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
As a partisan politician, these people you have described are those who enthroned the NNPP government in Kano.
Yes.
If you say they were received into Kwankwasia and not NNPP, yet they determine which government is in Kano, and they have chosen NNPP, are they not genuine members of NNPP?
No, I've just made it very clear to you now. I've just made it very clear to you that if you go to other political parties, you see a lot of pressure groups that are operating under the umbrella of those political parties. You go to PDP, you see so group, so movement, so this and that. If you go to APC, you see movement for legacy of Tinubu.
But those are members of those parties.
They are members of the party, but their first identity is that they came through an organization which came as a body to fuse into the party.
Let me ask you a question.
It's the same thing that is applicable to NNPP. They came as a body under the Kwankwasia movement to fuse into our party.
To enthrone an NNPP
We have no problems. Yes, we have no problems with that.
In other words, they are faithful to NNPP.
They were faithful to NNPP.
Okay.
As at the time of that election. And that's why they were able to deliver those votes en bloc to enthrone a governor. But as I talk to you now, their leader, the leader of the Kwankwasia movement, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, is no longer a member of our party. And so by extension,
they are no longer.
But because we didn't have any
I understand. I'm still heading back
party.
to the July 25 activities.
Yeah.
They left their parties and said they were going into NNPP. Are you throwing them away?
Well, we have made this clear repeatedly.
Are you objecting to their joining?
No, we have made this clear. I personally have made this clear repeatedly across TV stations and radio stations that you have a choice to make. It is either you stay faithful to the Kwankwasia movement and die with Kwankwaso, or you identify yourself with the party. You may have come under the Kwankwasia movement to join the party, but you have the party, or you are loyal to the Kwankwasia movement that brought you. And if that is the case, you are deemed not to be a member of the party.
In fact, that's something I was going to ask you. Are you saying that loyal Kwankwasia members who like NNPP are not welcome?
It is one thing to be loyal to Kwankwaso and still believe in the party. If we have that kind of instance, you are welcome. You need to know that the life of a political party is home to everybody. You have to come through somewhere. But you have the option of staying loyal negatively to where you are coming from, or staying loyal at the peripheral level, but identifying with the party and doing the dictates of the party. These are two different things. So even if you have come through Kwankwaso to the party, you have the option of staying. If you are a loyal member of NNPP. But if you come through Kwankwaso and you feel that you will come and think you can sabotage the party like Kwankwaso did, you are not part of us. I think that's quite clear for viewers to understand. So they have the option of being members of the party and staying within the dictates of the constitution of the party and the internal workings of the party, or they are loyal to Kwankwaso, who is no longer a member of the party, in which case they are gone with Kwankwaso.
Let me make a statement out from this your submission. The July 25 campees who were received by Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso were not received by him on behalf of NNPP.
Well, you see, like I told you, the governor was there.
Yes.
And the governor is the symbol of NNPP in Kano State. So, but what happened, what went wrong was that the governor was supposed to be on the driver's seat.
But Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso took over the steering.
Yes, if that had happened, we would have concluded safely that these are now members of the party. But that wasn't what we saw. And of course, if you watch the tape clearly, I haven't watched it because I'm not interested in what they do as a group, as Kwankwasia. But I don't know what languages were spoken there or what explanations were given there. But I'm sure that repeatedly they would have mentioned Kwankwasia. Because one thing about Kwankwaso is that before he talks about the party, he would have finished talking about the Kwankwasia movement. So he tries to establish your loyalty to him as a person first, before allowing you to have any form of understanding or loyalty to the party. That is the kind of person he is.
Permit me to address those decampees. Those of you who joined NNPP on July 25th and were received by Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the leader of the Kwankwasia movement, if you are loyal to the Kwankwasia, you cannot be loyal to NNPP. Am I correct?
Yes, because their leader is not a member of NNPP.
So
you are correct.
Because your leader is no longer a member of NNPP, your journey, your defection is in vain. Am I correct?
Well, it's not. You see, we've been trying to see how we can separate this.
That's a difficulty.
No, it's not. It's not because
the people are very loyal to NNPP because Kwankwaso is there.
Let me tell you, what do they know about NNPP?
They put you in power.
What do they know?
Put your party in their ignorance.
They just came in.
In their ignorance.
They just came in, so they were not even part of the votes that delivered NNPP.
Okay, these new ones.
Yes.
But what of the old ones?
Well, the old ones have always been NNPP. Yes, of course, they brought the governor to power, or they brought the party to power in Kano State. There's no doubt about that. Well, I thought you were addressing the new ones.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what we're saying.
But they've come to join the old ones.
Well, they just
in
came
the same loyalty that put your party in power. They were loyal to Kwankwasia and they put the old ones.
Can I tell you something?
Tell me.
Let me tell you something. The people you are seeing there that you just showed on your screen, if it is not a clip from an event that had taken place before, let us agree with you that it is a fresh clip. Because one thing that you can't take away from Kwankwaso is that time that he was moving around Kano campaigning for 2023,
that can be used for media manipulation.
They have a lot of clips, yeah. So they continue to release or unleash those clips on Nigerians.
Please don't deceive the media.
Exactly.
Please.
Exactly. So what I'm trying to say is that let us even assume that what we are seeing there actually took place. I am telling you that they didn't come there because of Kwankwaso. That's what I'm telling you. If you go to Kano and you interview 10 out of Kano citizens, 9 will tell you they don't believe in Kwankwaso, but they believe in the governor. Usual style and attitudes did not allow the governor to be on the driver's seat. And that's why, as a party, we are saying that we are not too sure if that program or that event was really our event. That's why I'm telling you that.
Did you know about it? Did you, as a party, even at the Kano level, know about this movement, this defection and reception?
That's what you see.
At the Kano level. Because not true. I'm taking
chairman
something
had-
from,
if the
because
chairman
this
had
is
done
for our own public education. In other words, the chairman of NNPP in Kano State was not at that event.
Senator El Jibrin. He was not. That's why I was trying to let you understand that. For us, it was like a Kwankwasia event, not an NNPP event. I think that was part of the opening statements I made here.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We said this is not going to be the main issue for this morning. 2027, is it a distraction to governance? Or is something gone wrong? That will be after this break. Please stay with us.
Penultimate Friday, that was the Christian Good Friday, a convoy of 4 brand new buses, blazing with pictures of Bola Ahmed Tinubu for 2027, were speeding on the Abuja-Kefi Expressway, heading towards Nasarawa State. A week earlier, the presidency, following media reports, had issued a statement distancing itself from the flood of billboards in Abuja and Kano, announcing the candidature of Tinubu for president in 2027. Niels?
You see, politics is a thing of it's a very interesting arena whereby politicians will always like to propagate their actions, will like to project themselves in a certain light to their constituents. And so I don't think it's completely out of place to have the president's posters around. Even though, like you rightly alluded to yourself, INEC has not released a timetable for campaigns to commence. But again, like I said, politics is about projecting. And so it's not completely out of place to see perhaps supporters of the president and his wife and his vice litter the place with posters and campaign pictures or billboards. Not necessarily campaigning for the president, but projecting the president and showcasing his personality. I think, by and large, this is what the administration is trying to achieve, or rather, this is what the supporters of the administration are trying to achieve. Because if you look around, and I'm sure if you would ask the president or his vice, they have not put anybody to this, you know. So it is all a part of the permutation. Whether for where he's coming from to showcase some of the things that he has achieved, or for where he's going to, which is the unknown. So we will all fold our arms and watch and observe to see what the administration has done, or is doing, or will do.
It's unfortunate to see that even before INEC announced the commencement of campaigns for the general elections, there are already phony organizations emerging, and the entire city is flooded with posters. It's a violation of the Electoral Act. Yes, the president has spoken to condemn those, but it's really unfortunate.
Most Nigerians believe in eye service. You know, all those billboards. I'm not sure it is the president that is asking them to do, because they are interested in eye service. They do all those things. To me, it is too early to start campaigning for 2027 elections, because Nigerians are yet to have the dividends of democracy they voted for in 2023. We don't have it. It's just 2 years. So after 2 years, it is a distraction for people to start putting on billboards for politicians in 2025. It is a distraction because it affects the focus of the people in power. They'll be thinking of 2027, leaving the basic provisions of what actually the people need. It is a basic purpose. So it is a good thing that the president has came out to say that they should remove it. They should remove it because it is too early. And I believe those doing that are doing that for their selfish interest.
The independent.
Well, as if we knew that a day will come, a day of reckoning. We did that story almost 6 weeks ago. Last week, President Ahmed